hope you all are doing well. You had a wonderful week. So let us continue with the Patanjali. Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. That's what we are discussing. I know your difficulties because these sutras are difficult to crack, difficult to unpack. And I am not taking particular sutras and explaining it also. My job is to give you an overall vision so that you can pick up some daily practice. That's my objective. If you want to study it thoroughly, sutra by sutra, become a master of the sutra, then you have to spend some more time. But this is enough. What you are getting through these 11 lectures are enough to get a parijaya, familiarity, comfort level with these sutras. We have seen there are 195 sutras and 4 chapters. In 4 chapters, 195 sutras. And there is one sutra which is a quintessential sutra. Sutra means a short statement. That's the meaning of sutra. So there is one sutra which is quintessential, reflecting on which you get the spirit of Patanjali's yoga. So what is the spirit of Patanjali's yoga? The essence of Patanjali's yoga. That is what we are going to discuss today. And the sutra is from the 2nd chapter, the 18th sutra. 2nd chapter, 18th sutra. If you can reflect on that sutra, you would have got the essence of Patanjali's yoga. And we all are yogis because we all practice yoga every day. Either you physical yoga or mental yoga or prana yoga. Some yoga you are doing every day. So what is the quintessential sutra? And that is from the 2nd chapter, 18th sutra. And the sutra goes like this. Let me read that sutra. It says, Prakasha Kriya Sthidishilam. Prakasha Kriya Sthidishilam. Bhudendriyatmakam. Bhogabavargartham. Drishyam. This is the sutra. I read once again. Prakasha Kriya Sthidishilam. Bhudendriyatmakam. Bhogabavargartham. Drishyam. So in the last lecture we were meditating on the chitta, the mind. Because we have seen mind as the mediator, the bridge between consciousness and the world that you experience. Consciousness, we have no way of knowing it. You can only be it. That we have seen. You cannot objectify consciousness. Therefore, you have to contemplate, meditate, quieten your mind and get an insight into consciousness. World you are experiencing through the sense organ, processed by the mind. So what mediates between the world and consciousness is the mind. And according to Patanjali, mind is not just the brain processes. Mind has got an identity of its own. Maybe the brain, when the brain is in a particular state, the mind may manifest. But mind is a separate entity. We can go into that later, but let us take it down. So the world, mind, and the consciousness, which you call Ishvara, God, or whatever word you want to give. Ishvara may not capture the whole spirit of consciousness, but let's not go into that philosophical hair splitting. So mind, we all know, you have a mind. We all have a mind. It doesn't require much. It's not a rocket science to know whether there's a mind or not. We all have the mind. And the mind can play havoc with you also. Some people is more hormonal. Your blood pressure goes down or up, or your sugar goes up. Your mind also get distracted or disturbed. So whatever may be the nature of the mind, we experience the mind. So Patanjali used the word chitta. So chitta can include, as we have seen, your emotions, your thoughts, your memories, your knowledge, and your identity, which you create, which keep on changing. All these are part of the chitta. In modern psychology, you can use the word mind. So we were reflecting on the nature of the mind. This mind, Patanjali calls here drishyam. Drishyam means which is observable. You can observe, you can feel. Because we all know we have a mind, it is drishyam. And this drishyam, which is the mind, is bhudendriyatmakam. Bhuta and indriya. Indriya means the sense organ, the 5 sense organs, and 5 organs of action, and the inner mind. So mind, sense organs, and organs of action put together is called indriya. Bhuta means the material world outside. So drishya includes not only the world outside. What are the world outside? The table, the chair, the trees, the mountain, the sunrise, sunset, your children, your grandchildren, your wife, everything, even your body, is something which is called the Bhuta. Bhavati the Bhuta. It appears and disappears. That's why it's called Bhuta. Isn't it? Constantly changing. And then there is the mind with the sense organ. So mind and the sense organs and the world outside together, Bhuta and Indriya together is called Drishyam. Because the world you observe, you can see. Mind also you can see. The only thing you cannot see is your consciousness. That's not, that you can only be. You cannot see that. So this Drishyam, which includes the mind, because the theater of the mind also a lot of things happen, which I am becoming. And the world outside also a lot of things happen. So this Drishyam, which includes the mind, the sense organs, and the world outside, all of them put together, is made up of 3 gunas. We have seen that. What are the 3 gunas? Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. But Patanjali uses a different words here. Patanjali says prakasham, because sattva is called reflectivity, it can reflect. Sattva is like a mirror. Things can reflect in it. And when it is reflected, objects reflect in the sattva aspect of mind and illumined by consciousness, you say, I see that object. You have seen that, isn't it? An object reflected in the mind, or mind to take the photograph of that object, and when it is illumined in consciousness, you get a knowledge, a piece of knowledge, an experience. Why should I know all this? Why should I know? I am only interested in eating, fighting, mating, and dying. Why should I know all this? Why should you burden me with all this? We should know. Then alone we understand the complexity of life and enjoy it. So Patanjali says this sense organ, the inner theater, and the world outside, and their interactions, all these are made up of 3 energies: Sattva, Prakasham, Kriya, Rajas, Kriya, the word Patanjali used the word Kriya for Rajas, Kriya, and Sthiti. Sthiti means inertia or passivity, activity, reflectivity, and passivity. We go through all these stages. Sometimes you are very reflective, very calm, very quiet. Sometimes you are very active and reactive. Sometimes you are passive, you don't understand anything. We go through these stages. Objects also are like that. There is motion, there is inertia, all those, whether it's a material world or the inner world. So, prakasha kriya sthiti sheelam, bodhendriyatmakam, drishyam. What is the purpose of all this? Bhoga bhavargartham. This is for your bhoga enjoyment. This is fun, Patanjali says. What you see outside and the mind with which you see and all those interactions and reactions, this is real fun. Bhogam, enjoyment. Not only it is meant for enjoyment, apavargam, transcendence also. That's the beauty. The world is meant for your enjoyment, and through enjoyment you experience transcendence. Transcendence is not running away from the world. Transcendence is while you are experiencing the world, you are experiencing transcendence also. This is what I call enlightenment. So this lecture, this talk is titled Enlightenment in Daily Life. So as you can enjoy the world, then alone you can transcend the world and abide in yourself. You must have experienced it. Last lecture I hinted it. Whenever you enjoy something, whether you are playing with your grandchildren, or you are talking with your beloved, or you are seeing a sunrise or a moonrise, or listening to music, or doing something which you like, painting, composing poetry, or a symphony, or a sonata, whatever. Whatever you enjoy, you experience timelessness, isn't it? You are not in time. You say, I did not know how time flew by. So Patanjali says, if you learn to enjoy the world, then you can experience transcendence. This I would say, transcendence in transience. Because these experiences are constantly changing. No experience is permanent. So as you enjoy the world, you can experience transcendence also, which is the real meaning of enlightenment. At least let us put the proposition clearly. So you don't have to move away from the world. You can keep enjoying the world, relating with the world, interacting with the world. You can be on the road or the boardroom or the bedroom or the kitchen or wherever you are. You can still be experiencing transcendence, timelessness. You can be in God consciousness. That cannot be taken away from you. So this world which you see is bhoga, abhavargartham. Abhavarga means moksha or transcendence or freedom. What do you mean by transcendence? Transcendence means timelessness. Experience of spaciousness, inner spaciousness. You feel there is a lot of space. You don't feel hemmed in or locked in. That is the meaning of transcendence. It is not that you are jumping into some other level or something. So when you enjoy the world, enjoy what you are doing, enjoy your interactions, enjoy your relationships, like you are watching a movie. That's the example which comes to my mind. When you watch a movie, a lot of things are happening in the movie. You are crying, you are, laughing, you are, all those things. But at the same time, you transcend the movie also. You know this is not absolutely real. This is for my entertainment, for which I made a payment also. So just as you watching a movie or a dance or a or a drama, you watch it, you go through all this emotionally, intellectually, physically, or whatever. If it is a 3-dimensional, 5-dimensional movie, good, you get a physical experience also, isn't it? But still you know, you're comfortable in your seat. Nothing has affected your comfort. Similarly, when you enjoy, at this point we don't enjoy the world. We are suffering. Every relationship is a suffering. Every encounter is a suffering. If it's not today, tomorrow it becomes suffering. So pleasure is not enjoyment, please. Pleasure is something which you harvest from the other by exploiting the other. Enjoyment is something when you dance with the other, when you move with the other, when you incorporate the other, when you create win-win situation. When there is no vanquish, there is only all are victors in that state. Can you do that? Here's the question. It's a loving relationship you have to have. So Patanjali says the world is not a torture chamber. The world is a place for it's for fun, enjoyment. And when you do that, you become timeless. You go. So that's the spirit of this sutra. Prakashakriya siddhishilam bodhendriyatmakam bhogabavargartham drishyam. So again we are coming to the mind now, because drishya has got mind as well as the world outside. So let us probe more into the structure and the nature of the mind or the chitta. The chitta is the thing which you have to understand, because it is through chitta you contact the world. It is through chitta again you will be able to collapse into the consciousness or fly into the consciousness, whichever way you want to say, or flower into that consciousness. That's the importance of chitta. So we have seen last lecture, the chitta, the mind has gotten certain manufacturer's defect. Certain built-in defect is there in the mind. All of us have got certain defect. As somebody said, we all are made of a crooked timber. And mainly it is the mind. So mind has got certain manufacturer's defect. What are those defects? Avidya. It is always extroverted. Isn't it? We have only eyes in the front, not at the back. So mind's tendency is to flow outward, to give importance to the outer objects. Devalue yourself, the self, and overvalue the world outside, which is called the extrovertedness of the mind. So you see only outside objects, isn't it? So this is one problem with that. That's called ignorance. It ignores the self and then see the world outside. So that is one problem with the mind. It is good because you have to see the world outside. If you don't see, then you cannot survive. So that's one of the problem with the mind. It doesn't see what is deeper. It only see what is shallow and superficial. Avidya. Then what is the problem? Asmida. We have seen it last time. Another problem with the mind, it catches hold of whatever is in front of it, which is called asmida, meaning it creates false identities. In sleep, some or other you don't have any false identity, because sleep mind is quiet. Isn't it? When you go to sleep, for example, a policeman and a thief whom the policeman is chasing, both are sleeping. They don't know who they are. But when they wake up, policeman start chasing the thief, isn't it? So mind creates false identity. It identifies. We have seen that. Asmida. And that asmida can go to very deep levels. Even that, the notion that you are a man or a woman also is asmida. Because you are identifying with the body. And forgetting your real nature. That I am strong, I am weak, I am rich, I am poor. I am the president, I am the ex-president. All these are identities that we create. We keep on creating new identities. When you are married, you are married. When you are divorced, you are, this is my ex-husband. How many ex-husbands you have like that? Isn't it? So you create new identity. And then suffer also. So, asmida. And then raga dvesha, like and dislikes. This is another problem with the mind. Not that mind is happy with the likes and dislikes, but it is like that. I hate that person. I love that person. You told me you love that person, now what happened? Now I hate it. What happened? You changed your mind. Yes, I changed my mind. Not I changed my mind, mind changed by itself. I cannot help it. Yesterday I could not have lived with him, and today I cannot live with him. Keep on changing. Beyond your control. This is the manufacturer's defect. You are not consistent, the mind. So, raga, dvesha. Then abhinivesha. Then you keep on clinging on to things. Abhinivesha can be two. What you like, you cling. What you dislike also, you cling. Isn't it? In your dream, what are you dreaming about? Your enemies, not your friends. So two types of clinging is there. So this is the defects of the mind. One has to look into that. What are the defects of the mind? The manufacturer. Can I do something about it? Or should I live with it? Of course, Patanjali gives some antidote, some kind of a discipline to manage the state. But what we find is, it's very difficult to get out of this situation. This is how the world functions. The Drishyam functions this way. However enlightened you are, the world has got its own defects. You can only stand apart and watch the tamasha. Don't try to correct the world. The more you try to correct it, the more remain the same. The more things change, the more they remain the same. So correcting the world is a big problem. It's a problematic thing. Karl Marx said, I will change the world, and created such a large literature. And his followers tried to change the world. And the more they tried to change, the more world remained the same. So there is a limit that you can do about the world. Bhagavad Gita also says that. What Bhagavad Gita says is, Sahajam karma kaundeya sadosham abhinastajat sarvarambhahi doshena dhumena grida. Everything has got some defect. Nothing is perfect in this world. That's the law of the world. However you may try. However you may try to repair your marriage, you tell me, has it been repaired? It hasn't repaired. You try to remain calm and quiet when she is screaming and shouting. You try to remain quiet. Then she is more angry because you are remaining quiet. She wants you to shout back. And if you don't do that, it irritates her more. Isn't it? And the same thing to you also. You say certain, you scream and shout, and he remains quiet, and you get angry. So this way, and then you try to do exercise and eat all kind of vitamins, but then you become old. Problems come. So Patanjali says, one has to deal with the defective instrument that you have. However you may try, However, psychologists try to repair human relationship, we find they are not successful. Actually, I have seen most of the psychologists have their own issues and problems. So they can give you good stories from their own experience. They cannot cure you. So this world has its fundamental defect. It has to go through this process of entropy, creation, growth, becoming old, and get destroyed. So this is one of the fundamental principles of whether it is yoga or Vedanta. The world has got its defect. Your mind is, its very nature is defective. And it is with this defective instrument you are trying to deal with the world. And then so these are the 5 defects of the mind. What are they? Ignorance, ego or identification, likes, dislikes, and extreme attachment. This is and you have to analyze this way. What is my state of mind? Where am I stuck? Where am I attached? What is the source of my pain? One has to analyze the mind. And it may take some time. That's what you are doing in the meditation. Because when you meditate, you want to focus on, let's say, a flame or a mantra or your prana. But your mind is running all over. You are sitting quiet, physically. But mind is running all over. Mind is like a monkey. To trap it is very difficult. This is a fact. Some of you have been meditating for your whole life, and still, when you sit for meditation, mind is running all over, isn't it? That is the nature of the mind. Better you allow the mind to run. After some time, it will come back. But then also it's a problem, isn't it? Then also it's a problem. So understand this is the nature of the mind, so don't punish yourself beyond the limit. This is the instrument, tool that I have been blessed with. This is a pack of cards with which I have to play. Mind is like that. Mind is chittaha kadi. Mind is like a monkey. Mind is like a river, it keeps flowing. Chitta nadi. That is another example given. So one has to understand, where are you stuck? What is your area of darkness, ignorance? Where the mind doesn't go. Where are your attachments, likes, dislikes? What are you extremely addicted to? All those things one has to see. So these are the 6 defects of the mind. And still it is a very powerful tool. Let's not discount the importance of mind. This is the only tool you have to deal with the world and to realize yourself. There's no other tool is there. And all tools have their own defects. Isn't it? It's like a pole vault. In pole vault, you have to use the stick, isn't it? Run with the stick and stick the stick and then lift yourself over the stick and glide across the beam. And when you glide across the beam, don't carry the beam with you. Isn't it? Similarly, then you leave the stick and then transcend. The mind is a very powerful instrument, but it has got its own problems and defects. So when these defects occur, don't feel bad. Don't punish yourself. Don't make yourself a sinner. That is how the mind is. Learn how to use it. For any instrument, if you are using a cycle or a car or a motorbike or an aeroplane or a boat, it has got its own problems. In spite of that, you are using this tool, isn't it? Of course, a plane crash can happen. That does not stop you from flying. Car accident, 50,000 people die every day in car accident. That does not stop you from driving. So we have to use this, whatever we have. So mind is got 5 defects. And the mind also has got 9 dysfunctions. Sometimes it just, instead of functioning, dysfunctions happen. It's like a horse. You want to steer ahead, but the horse moves the other way. Similarly, you want to use the mind in a certain way, mind goes in a different way. There are 9 such dysfunctions of the mind. This is for our own self-reflection. What are those dysfunctions? The first dysfunction is, Patanjali says, Vyadhi. Vyadhi means sickness. Mind feels sick. Vyadhi. You feel very sick. Sometimes don't you feel that? I feel sick. I feel throwing up. Then if the mind is not functioning at that time. Vyadhi. Mind feels very, very sick. And sometimes it happens. Sometimes you cannot help it. So it is better to understand when the mind feels like that. It's sick. Vyadhi. And then Styanam. Styanam means apathy, disinterest. Disinterest. You are not interested. You feel a kind of apathy. You find a kind of depressive state. You are depressed. You don't know why. Nobody knows why. Of course, you can give some chemical. Some chemicals are less in you or more in you, whatever explanation you give. But this is my experience. I feel depressed. I feel low. I'm not interested. But yesterday you were super active. What happened to you today? I don't know. I'm not interested. It's better you know that. Certain times, mind can be like that. You all must have experienced it, isn't it? So don't condemn yourself. That is one state of mind, depression. Then samshayam, doubt. My God, this is the one major problem with the mind. It doubts. You doubt your husband, wife doubts wife, and you doubt your children, your relations, you doubt everyone. Is there any reason for doubt? Not many reasons, but I doubt. I doubt you. I doubt your sincerity. I doubt your integrity. Doubting Thomases. Doubt is a major problem with the mind. It is an advantage also. It is an advantage. It is not an unblemished calamity. Sometimes you have to doubt to protect yourself. But sometimes doubt becomes so obsessive that you are not able to function. You become dysfunctional. So doubt, that is another problem with the mind. You can go on and on this nature, but I am just taking you through this so that you understand the territory of the mind or the tool that you are dealing with. Doubt. A doubt can become a big problem. It is better to learn to trust. Trust also can become a problem. You can become, others can exploit you as a result of that. But if you doubt, you cannot do anything. No step can be taken. So doubt, samshayam, pramadam, carelessness. Sometimes you do stupid, silly mistakes, isn't it? Silly, I didn't mean it. Stupid, silly mistakes, the mind does. And then you feel very bad, you blame yourself. But that's the nature of the mind. That's how the mind is constructed. Pramadam, alasyam, laziness. Isn't it? Have you gone through that state of laziness? That you don't want to do anything, you want, but you don't want to, you are lazy, you are lying on the bed, you don't want to get up, you don't want to take a bath, you have an urgent meeting, but I am lazy today, then you shoot a letter, I am sick, so I am not coming. You are not sick. What kind of sickness is this? This is simple laziness, how careless. So, pramadam, carelessness. Then, alasya is laziness. Okay. Alasyam, lazy. You have gone through that. So then aviradhi. Aviradhi means addictions. We all have our own addictions. Some people are addicted to drink, some people are smoking, some people are sex, some people are making money, some people are power. Like Trump, addicted to power. Earlier he was addicted to money. And he would do anything to retain the power. Even undermine democracy, which brought him into the White House. So we have our own addictions, aviradhi. We are not able to extricate ourselves from that situation. What are your addictions? You have to think, you have to understand. What are your addictions? Make a list of those things. There are some addictions. All of us have some addiction. Our weak point, our Achilles heel, as I say. Addictions are there. Even gurus have addiction, please understand. Because they are not free from this. We have a false notion gurus are perfect in their actions and their thought. That is not true. All of us will go through this. Gurus are little better than you in hiding what their real nature is. That's all. That's all what is there. You are not that clever. Everybody has to go through this. So therefore, aviradhi, addictions are there. Then, Bhranti darshan, delusions, my God. Delusion. You start seeing things which are not there. Delusion. Suddenly you start seeing your wife is a ghost. Your husband is a Nazi. You start attributing labels and misrepresenting people. And you use such harsh words also. At that moment you will use harsh words. These are the delusions that's momentary. Later you say, I'm sorry honey, I did not mean it. I did not mean it. At that moment, I couldn't help it. I just blurted it out. Your secret thoughts come out at that time. Generally, you are able to some or other manage it. So, aviradhi, bhranti darshanam, delusions. Then, alabdha bhumigatvam. Then you come to a state of alabdha bhumigatvam. You feel you are not progressing. You are stuck. You are bored with life. That is another state of mind. You are bored. You are stuck. Bhumiga. You are not able to move ahead, progress. You stopped learning from life. Life has become a boring experience. Most of us are in that state right now. Life is boring, isn't it? I'm not talking about maybe you are not, but this is what mind is. You get bored with life. That's the time you want to watch a horror movie, let us say. Some kind of excitement happens. Or you have a couple of drinks. Or you take a gun and shoot some 10 people. All those things can happen. So, life becomes boring, bored. And alabdha bhumigatvam. Now the problem is, when you don't keep moving, progressing, you start digressing. It's like a car up the gradient. When the car is not moving ahead, what happens? It will slid backward, it will go backward. So your deterioration starts, mind starts deteriorating. And then you are hopeless at that state. So these are the 9 dysfunctions of the mind. And we all go through this, isn't it? So 5 defects, 9 dysfunctions. My God, this tool which I am using is worthless, isn't it? This is the kind of tool I am using to deal with the world. Now, there are 5 levels of the mind. You see, Patanjali is a great psychologist. Even modern psychology has not reached the height that Patanjali reached. Patanjali is a realist also. He is not just an idealist. What are the 5 levels of the mind in which it's called bhumikas, and these defects called andarayas. Patanjali used the word andaraya. These dysfunctions of the mind, the word he uses is andaraya. And 5 defects of the mind, the word Patanjali uses is klesha. So klesha, andarayas is an honest evaluation of the mind. So this, when the andaraya happen, when the mind becomes dysfunctional, there is a physical experience also. What is the physical experience? Patanjali says, dukkham, of course, you feel suffering. Suffering is there, dukkham. And then daurumanasya, mood disorders. Mood disorders happen. Daurumanasya, depression. Angamejayatvam, and you start shivering. Shwasa prashwasa vikshebha, and you are not able to breathe properly. Difficulty in breathing. You are shaking. And you are not able to, you are totally dysfunctional at this time. These things happen. So now there are 5 levels of the mind. What are the levels of the mind? One level is called mudha. Mudha means utter dullness. You are not interested in anything. Sometimes haven't you experienced that? Early in the morning when you wake up, you are not interested in anything. You just want to crawl on the bed. You don't want to do anything. That's called mudha state. And you don't listen to anything, you don't understand anything. You read a whole newspaper from front page to last page, but you don't know which newspaper you were reading, what is the main items you read. Nothing is remembered. You read a book at that time. Nothing. You engage in a conversation. You remember it. So that state is called mudha state of mind. Another level of the mind is called chitta state of mind. Chitta means distracted state of mind. You are restless. You are restless. You are not able to focus. Distracted state. You have experienced mudha, chitta, and the third state of vichittam, not only distracted, you are positively disturbed. Disturbed state of mind. Don't you say that I am disturbed today. Don't talk with me. Leave me alone. I am disturbed. But I thought you are doing yoga and then pranayama still. Yeah, that's true. I am. Leave me alone. I am disturbed today. What is the reason? I don't know. But I am disturbed. This is called vikshipta state. These are various bhumikas, levels in which the mind operates. Then niruddha. Niruddha means alert state of mind. Very, very alert. Also there is a snake in your bedroom. Isn't it? You are very alert. Your eyes all over. An alert state of mind. At that time, whatever you read, whatever you hear, it registers very well in your alert state of mind. And the last level is called ekagra, focused state of mind. There is a difference between alertness and focus. Focus, you are narrowing your attention. Alertness, you are become very inclusive, very alert. You are ready for anything in that state. Alertness and focus. These are different levels of the mind under which we are operating. So now I hope I have walked to you on this difficult terrain of the mind. 5 defects, 9 dysfunctions, and 5 bhumikas of the mind. This is what you are dealing with. Not only to understand the world and to realize yourself. This is the mind. Dealing with, be aware of that. Don't feel bad about it. This is how God has created. Paranchikani vadurna swayambhu tasmat param pashyadi nandaratman. The Kathopanishad says. God has created. If you believe in God, God has created the mind like this. Now, how will I deal with the mind? Where do I stand in relation with this mind? Now, with this mind, you are interacting with the world. You are trying to understand the self, the truth, God, whatever. And when you interact with the world with this mind, as we have seen last class, mind undergoes 5 modifications, vrittis. 5 modifications or vrittis. What are those 5 modifications? We have seen last class. Pramana, Viparya, Vikalpa, Nidra, Sumudaya. These are the 5 modifications which the mind undergoes as it interacts with the world. Whether it is trying to understand the self or the world, the mind undergoes these 5 modifications, vrittis. So what are those 5 vrittis for your recollection? Right knowledge, wrong knowledge, imaginary knowledge, no knowledge, memory generated. Most of our knowledge is stored as memories. What is right knowledge? The mind, the vritti and the vishaya are the same. The vritti and the vishaya are the same. That's why it is right knowledge. Wrong knowledge, vritti is something, vishaya is something. Imaginary knowledge, there is no vishaya at all. Memory knowledge, old experience burst into the mind as a new experience, memory. And so these are the 5 knowledges which happens in the theater of your mind. And your life is reduced into these 5 vrittis by Patanjali. Patanjali is a great mathematician. So your whole life is reduced into these 5 vrittis, right knowledge. And all your actions are based on this. You can act on right knowledge, wrong knowledge, imaginary knowledge, no knowledge, and memory knowledge. Suddenly a memory strikes you. Oh, suddenly I remember my parents. I must go to them and meet them. Or suddenly I remember something. I must go and see that. So all these vrittis provoke activities. Or no activity. Either take to something or avoids. Pravritti nivritti. Activities ensue as a result of these vrittis. And these vrittis create knowledge, of course. Because these vrittis reflected in consciousness become pratyas. But Patanjali goes further. These vrittis can be further reduced to 2 experiences. What are those experiences? I have told you last time. What are the experiences? Klishtam, aklishtam. Pleasure and pain. Certain knowledge creates pain. Suddenly you realize that your stock value has gone down. Pain, isn't it? If you did not know that, there was no problem. So knowledge can create a lot of pain, a lot of pleasure. And Patanjali further goes one step further. He says, all these pleasures is finally pain only. The last mode of the mind, or the final state of mind, is dukkha, or painful mode. Dukkha vritti is dukkha. That is the sum total of your life. At the end of the day, when you look at it, if you take a stock of your life, balance sheet of your life is dukkham. Pleasures are all forgotten. Only dukkha remains. Now Patanjali takes it. Now comes a counterintuitive understanding of Patanjali. So this is only a mode of mind, dukkha. And you are looking into that mind. Because mind is objective, drishya. So please listen carefully. I am taking a quantum leap here now, Patanjali. This mode of mind, which is called dukkha, you are looking into that mode of mind and see yourself in that mind, reflected in that mind. And you take yourself to be that reflection. Think very deeply. Because this mode of mind, dukkha mode of mind, is drishyam, is an object for you to see. And what you see there, you see your own reflection there, which is called the individuality or ego, what we say. You see your own reflection. And what the reflection takes on itself the properties of the mind, isn't it? Then you see yourself in this mind, reflected yourself. You take yourself to be that because you have no idea who you are. I hope you are with me. Because this is a sudden twist. Like a horror movie, sudden there is a twist. So you see yourself in that, in the mind, and you take yourself to be that reflection. Because you have no idea who you are. It's something like when you look into the mirror, and that happened to be a convex mirror, let us say. Or a concave mirror, a convex mirror. If it's a concave mirror, then you see your face is blown, is bloated, isn't it? Concave mirror, your face is bloated. It's a convex mirror, your face has shrunk. If a broken mirror, your face is broken into several pieces. Is it not? Please understand. Please reflect. This is a very critical moment in your yoga practice and understanding. So you take yourself to be the reflection because you have no way of knowing who you are. This is a truth in our practical life also. Have any of you seen your own face? I'm challenging, I'm asking a question. Have any of you seen your own face? Though some of you have not seen, some of you have not met, but I'm sure that none of you have seen your own face. The face that you know is a face which is reflected in the mirror, or explained by or told by another person. He is another mirror. Either your neighbor, your friend tells you how your face looks. Beautiful eyes, beautiful face, ugly face, whatever. So the face, and you see your own face I am talking. The face that you know now is either reflected in the mirror or reflected by your neighbor or your friend. You have no way of knowing who you are. Isn't it? That face, either reflected in the mirror or reflected by your neighbor, is not your real face. It is only a reflected face. And all reflections are distorted or flavored by the reflecting medium. Is it not? The reflected medium, the mirror, depending upon whether it's convex or broken or dirty or without mercury, it affects your understanding of who you are. And the truth is, your reflection on the mirror depends upon the nature of the reflecting medium. The truth is, you are free from that reflection. You are not affected by the reflection. The reflection depends on you. You don't depend on it. I always tell the story. This teenager young man, he just to tease his mother, he changed the mirror from the bathroom. He put a concave mirror there. Now, usually you get up early in the morning, you go to the bathroom, look yourself in the mirror. And what does this lady see? My God, my face has swollen up. What is the reason? She cries and she jumps out of the bathroom and shouts and then, please come, my face has swollen, I don't know what has bit me while I was sleeping. So husband comes, children come. Mom, nothing has happened to your face. Darling, nothing has happened to your face. Your face is as beautiful or ugly as it was before. And he says all this, but you are not convinced. You are not convinced. No, you are not interested in me. You are busy with other things. You don't tell me the truth. This is what is happening. I saw myself in the mirror. Then finally, the son comes, Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I just want to play prank with you. Actually, that's a defect of the mirror. I put a concave mirror in the bathroom. Now I put a proper mirror. Now you go and see. Now it's okay. The reflection is as true as my face. As much as it can be. Sattva Purushayoho Shuddhi Samya Kaivalyam. Patanjali uses that word. The reflection is as true, if not completely true, something similar to your face. So the mother is very happy. Now the husband went to the office, children went to school, and then she brought the concave mirror again. And she looked into that. Her face is swollen. And she grimaced. And she laughed. And she saw the marks on her face accentuated. Now she is enjoying it, isn't it? Now she is enjoying her reflection in the mirror because she enjoys and she transcends it. Because she knows this is not my true nature. Similarly, what is reflected in the mirror, if it is dukkha, what is your real nature? Exactly the opposite, sukha. If what is reflected in the mirror is mortality, what is your real nature? Immortality. If your reflection, what is his nature? Suffering. Your nature is joy. So whatever you see in the mirror, it is not your true nature. It's an inverted nature. You have to set it right and understand. Now the brain science says when you see a tree, the tree is seen inverted in the brain. That the brain has to correct it and see it. So similarly, one has to look at the mind and see your reflection. Don't identify it. When you identify with it, then vritti sarupyam. When you don't identify, then it is surupa pratishta. You abide in yourself. That is why Patanjali says, Bhoga bhavargartham prisya. When you see yourself, don't identify and see your nature as Satchidanandam. Or, as Patanjali says, Nitya Shuji Sukha Atma. Take it entirely, exactly the opposite. What you see yourself in the mirror is not your true nature. What you reflect in the world outside is not, or in the mind, is not your true nature. Once you secure this understanding, once you have this understanding, you can be in the world, and every experience, every encounter reminds you of who you are. That is why we say you can enjoy the world and experience transcendence. Every experience, moment to moment experience, everything becomes an opportunity for you to know who you are That is why I said this is a very important sutra. Bhogabhavargartham Drishya. Meditate on that. When you sit on the seat of yoga, meditation, of course you sit physically. I'll be coming to all that. 7 steps yoga, Ashtanga yoga, etc. We'll see. One talk will be on that. So when you sit on the asana, quiet, watch your breath, watch your mind, watch your eye experience. What you are trying to do is that watch the mind and see the reflection. And Patanjali gives some discipline to relatively quieten the mind. Not absolutely. Relatively you can quieten the mind and then watch the mind and see the reflection. When the mind is relatively quiet, the reflection also becomes as true as the real. So that is why Sattva Virishayoho Shuddhi Same Kaivalyam. When the Sattva mind is calm, you get an insight into your real nature. But don't identify with this reflection. And thus you can make every moment of your life, every day of your life, every experience become a stepping stone into this transcendental understanding of who you are. Patanjali doesn't want you to run away from the world. Enjoy the world, be in the world, have all kinds of relationships, and still you can be free. So it is not freedom from the world, it is freedom in the world. It is not freedom from work, it is freedom in work. It is not freedom from relationship, it is freedom in relationship. That is what, that's the only freedom which is possible. The rest are all escapism, running away. That will not lead you to freedom. To confront the world, be in the world, relate with the world, understand the world, and then you will be able to understand yourself. So I read the sutra once again. Prakasha-kriya sthiti-sheelam bhudendriyatmakam bhogabhavargartham drishyam. That's the purpose. Now don't ask me why the world. Why God created the world? Why this mind? These questions are irrelevant. It is something like one who wants to learn swimming. You will not ask the question, why swimming pools? They are necessary to, you jump into it and learn swimming. That skill is there inherent in you. You have to only make it patent, what is latent. So the world is an absolute necessity. The relationships are necessary to realize who you are. So now I'll be developing this thing further. The next talk will be about various levels of samadhi. So this state is called samadhi. What we have talked about, state is called samadhi. You are in the world, but still you are calm, rooted, quiet. So there are 7 levels of samadhi which Patanjali talks about, and that we'll be seeing next time. Thank you very much. This is a little tough, I know. This is a little tough thing which I presented, but then as we go ahead, this can become much more clear for you. But have this understanding that every experience can become a transcendental experience. Every experience is transient. All these transient experiences can become a stepping stone or opportunity for transcendental experience. That's the key idea which I am presenting today. And as we go ahead, you will be able to know more about it. So now let us look into these 8 steps of samadhi, 8 types of samadhi, levels of samadhi next time. Thank you very much. Hari Om.